We've oftentimes highlighted female survivors battling breast cancer and the impact it has had on them and their families. But have you ever stopped to wonder what a man goes through if they are diagnosed with the killer disease? Well, we tracked down a male breast cancer survivor who lives in the United States but has family and soul ties right here at home.
He looks at me and says, Valentino, you have breast cancer. And I recall right there on the spot just praising God and just worshiping because I didn't know what else to do.
It's this dreaded news from his doctor that now 46-year-old father of two and husband Valentino Hart has to live with forever. In his cancer reflections, the Nassau native, now Tampa, Florida resident, says the breast cancer diagnosis came as a shock 10 years ago. But with his faith in God, he managed to get through it.
At that time, the primary physician told me, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and just do a mammogram just to be on the safe side. So I said, mammogram? A mammogram is for a woman. So at that point, he was able to educate me. So I proceeded to do a mammogram the following day. And then when I did a mammogram, if you've never done a mammogram before as a guy, it's pretty painful, but at the same time, an adventure. Having to put that clamp in between your breasts and try to get the lump that's in your breast and to be able to examine that. I recall going back to my car and sitting in my car right after the diagnosis and having to call my wife. And that was one of the toughest things I had to do. Call my wife and let her know that I was diagnosed with breast cancer. The MRI, PET scan, the following week, thank the Lord that they all came back negative as far as it hadn't spread to any other parts of my body. I took some lymph nodes out, those were negative. And I was able to, at that point, go back to my doctor. At that point, he recommended that I have a bilateral mastectomy, which is the removal of both breasts.
But Valentino's breast cancer journey got even more interesting. In fact, while administering chemotherapy treatments, he said he was quite surprised to see others battling a disease that's very rare in a man's world.
At the age of 36 years old, I was a little shocked when I walked into the chemo lab, and I was under the impression that I was going to be the only male. I was under the impression I was going to be the only young person in there, but to my surprise, there were persons younger than me, older than me, and there were males in there as well with breast cancer. And I was very humbled by the experience, having to do the chemo, 2 hours every day as a male with breast cancer. It was tough, but I had to rely on the word of God.
Some good news, though. As of this month, Valentino is in remission and says he has been healed from the killer disease. With his grandmother and two aunts losing the fight, Valentino gave these strong words to men who feel they are exempted from breast cancer.
As men, we overlook the fact and think it's just a woman thing. And by the time we get to the doctor, it has already metastasized all throughout our body. So I would encourage men that this disease does affect us as well. We have to check our bodies, our chests, any lumps in our breast area, and follow up with the doctor because early detection and treatment help save lives.